Are you ready to embark on a journey of exploration and discovery, to push beyond the boundaries of what you think is possible and discover new ways of thinking and problem solving? If so, come along as we dive into the world of possibility thinking. Together, we will explore new ideas, challenge our assumptions, and unlock our true potential. No more saying I can't, no more heartbreaking in difficult situations. So grab your imagination. In this video, explore possibility thinking from How Successful People Think book by the great author, speaker, and pastor John C. Maxwell. I promise you great pleasure, knowledge, and benefit. With Leadership Story, a leader's reaction in a difficult situation, lost in the middle of the desert, in the end. Welcome to ReadBook Channel, a channel that will help you learn skills from authors and speakers, international personalities, to step towards success and wealth in your life. If you are interested, honor me by subscribing. Let's get started. Explore possibility thinking. Nothing is so embarrassing as watching someone do something that you said could not be done. Sam Ewing. Possibility thinking refers to the mindset of considering and exploring all the potential options, opportunities, and solutions for a given situation rather than focusing on the limitations or constraints. It is the opposite of problem-based thinking and is used to generate new ideas and solutions, foster creativity and innovation, and to overcome obstacles and challenges. It encourages people to think outside the box, to be open-minded, and to consider alternative perspectives. It is a valuable skill in today's fast-paced and ever-changing world as it helps people to be more adaptable, resilient, and creative. It is also used in business, education, personal development, and in many other fields. Possibility thinkers are able to complete things that appear unattainable because they have faith in finding solutions. Here are some arguments in favor of developing possibility thinking. 1. Possibility thinking increases your possibilities. For example, instead of thinking I can't start a business because I don't have enough money, a person using possibility thinking would think, what are some ways I could acquire the necessary funds to start a business? This shift in perspective can open up new possibilities and opportunities for the individual. When you have the belief and confidence in your ability to accomplish something challenging, it can lead to new opportunities. George Lucas, the creator of Star Wars, faced this challenge when many said that the special effects he wanted to include in the film were impossible. However, Lucas succeeded in making the film and as a result, opened up many other possibilities for him. For example, he created the company Industrial Light and Magic to produce the special effects, which generated revenue to help fund his other projects. He also created merchandising tie-ins to his movies, providing another source of income to support his movie making. Additionally, his confidence in tackling the difficult has made a significant impact on other filmmakers and moviegoers. Popular culture writer Chris Salewicz asserts, at first directly, through his own work and then via the unparalleled influence of ILM, George Lucas has dictated for 2 decades the essential broad notion of what is cinema. If you open yourself up to possibility thinking, you open yourself up to many other possibilities. 2. Possibility thinking draws opportunities and people to you. You can understand how being a possibility thinker can lead to new opportunities and draw in others by using the example of George Lucas. Big thinkers are attracted to other big thinkers. You must develop possibility thinking skills if you want to do great things. A person who wants to start their own business, instead of thinking I can't start a business because I don't have any connections in the industry, they use possibility thinking to think, what are some ways I can network and make connections in the industry to help me start my business. By actively seeking out opportunities and networking, they may attract the attention of potential investors, business partners, or mentors who can help them get their business off the ground. Additionally, by approaching their goal with a positive and open-minded attitude, they may also draw the interest of other like-minded people who are also looking for opportunities to start their own businesses. This positive attitude and approach to opportunities can make a big difference in attracting the right people and opportunities to help achieve the goal. 3. Possibility thinking increases others' possibilities. A manager who is leading a team at a company, instead of thinking we can't improve our sales numbers because our current market is too saturated, they use possibility thinking to think, what are some new markets or strategies we can explore to increase our sales numbers. By encouraging this type of thinking and creativity among among the team, they may come up with new and innovative ideas that they hadn't considered before. This can lead to new opportunities for the team and the company, such as expanding into new markets or implementing new sales strategies. Additionally, by fostering a culture of possibility thinking, the manager is also helping to develop the skills and mindset of their team members, which can open up new possibilities for their personal and professional growth. Big thinkers who make things happen also create possibilities for others. That happens, in part, because it's contagious. You can't help but become more confident and think bigger when you're around possibility thinkers. 4. Possibility thinking allows you to dream big dreams. No matter what your profession, possibility thinking can help you to broaden your horizons and dream bigger dreams. Professor David J. Schwartz believes big thinkers are specialists in creating positive, forward-looking, optimistic pictures in their own minds and in the minds of others. If you embrace possibility thinking, your dreams will go from molehill to mountain size, and because you believe in possibilities, you put yourself in position to achieve them. 5. Possibility thinking makes it possible to rise above average. Automobile manufacturers were required to make their vehicles more fuel efficient during the 1970s, a time when oil prices were at an all-time high. Senior engineers at one manufacturer were instructed to significantly cut the weight of the vehicles they were constructing. They investigated the issue and looked for answers, but in the end they came to the conclusion that producing lighter cars was impossible, would be too expensive, and would raise too many safety issues. They were stuck in the same way of thinking and couldn't break free. What was the auto manufacturer's response? They assigned a crew of less skilled engineers to work on the issue. The new team devised strategies to shed hundreds of pounds from the weight of the company's vehicles. They believed there was a chance to solve the issue. 6. Possibility thinking gives you energy. An individual facing a financial setback such as a job loss or unexpected expense, instead of thinking I can't recover from this setback because I don't have enough money, they use possibility thinking to think what are some ways I can increase my income or cut expenses to recover from this setback. By focusing on potential opportunities and solutions, they may come up with ideas such as looking for a new job, starting a side business, or finding ways to reduce their living expenses. By shifting the focus on the potential opportunities, the individual may find the energy to take action and implement these ideas, which can help them to recover from the financial setback and improve their overall financial situation. Thinking about possibilities and one's level of energy are directly related. Who finds energy in the thought of losing? What much of time and effort are you willing to invest in something if you know it won't succeed? Nobody searches for a hopeless cause. You put your all into something you think will succeed. When you adopt possibility thinking, you have confidence in your actions, which gives you vigor. 7. Possibility thinking keeps you from giving up. Above all, possibility thinkers believe they can succeed. Dennis Waitley, author of The Psychology of Winning, says, "The winners in life think constantly in terms of I can, I will, and I am. Losers, on the other hand, concentrate their waking thoughts on what they should have done or what they don't do. If you believe you can't do something, then it doesn't matter how hard you try, because you've already lost. If you believe you can do something, you have already won much of the battle." Rudy Giuliani, the mayor of New York, was among many who demonstrated in 2001 that he was a strong believer in possibilities. Giuliani not only guided the city through the chaos of the disaster in the hours after the World Trade Center tragedy, but he also inspired trust in everyone he came into contact with. He then shared some reflections and thoughts on his experience. "I was so proud of the people I saw on the street. No chaos, but they were frightened and confused, and it seemed to me that they needed to hear from my heart where I thought we were going. I was trying to think, where can I go for some comparison to this? Some lessons about how to handle it. So I started thinking about Churchill, started thinking that we're going to have to rebuild the spirit of the city. And what better example than Churchill and the people of London during the Blitz in 1940? Who had to keep up their spirit during this sustained bombing. It was a comforting thought. 16 hours after the plane struck the buildings in New York City, when Giuliani finally returned at 2:30 a.m. to his apartment for a rest, instead of sleeping, he read the World War II chapters of Churchill, a biography by Roy Jenkins. He learned how Winston Churchill helped his people to see the possibilities and kept his people going. Inspired, Giuliani did the same for his own people 6 decades later. How to feel the energy energy of possibility thinking. If you are someone who naturally has a positive outlook and embraces the idea of possibility thinking, you understand the concept well. On the other hand, some people tend to have a negative or skeptical perspective. They may believe that those who think positively and see possibilities are unrealistic or uninformed. However, it is important to note that highly successful individuals often have a positive and optimistic mindset. In fact, it is rare to find successful people who are constantly negative or believe in impossibility. The truth is, those who adopt a negative or pessimistic mindset are less likely to achieve significant things. Let me ask you a question. How many highly successful people do you know who are continually negative? How many impossibility thinkers are you acquainted with who achieve big things? None. People with an "it can't be done" mindset have two choices. They can expect the worst and continually experience it, or they can change their thinking. That's what George Lucas did. Believe it or not, even though he is a possibility thinker, he is not a naturally positive person. He says, "I'm very cynical, and as a result, I think the defense I have against it is to be optimistic." In other words, he chooses to think positively. He sums it up this way: as corny as it sounds, the power of positive thinking goes a long way. So determination and positive thinking combined with talent combined with knowing your craft. That may sound like a naive point of view, but at the same time it's worked for me and it's worked for all my friends. So I have come to believe it. If you want possibility thinking to work for you, then begin by following these suggestions. 1. Stop focusing on the impossibilities. A key element in developing a possibility thinking mindset is to stop focusing on the problems or negative aspects of a situation and instead look for potential opportunities. This means shifting your perspective from identifying what's wrong to considering what could be done to improve the situation. Sports psychologist Bob Rotella recounts, "I tell people, if you don't want to get into positive thinking, that's okay. Just eliminate all the negative thoughts from your mind, and whatever's left will be fine." If possibility thinking is new to you, you'll need to give yourself a lot of self-coaching to get rid of some of the doubts you might have. When you automatically start listing all the things that can go wrong or all the reasons something can't be done, stop yourself and say, "Don't go there." Then ask, "What's right about this?" That will help to get you started. You might need to ask the help of a friend or family member to alert you each time you express a gloomy idea if pessimism is a particularly large problem for you and you speak before you've even thought them through. 2. Stay away from the experts. So-called experts do more to shoot down people's dreams than just about anybody else. Possibility thinkers are very reluctant to dismiss anything as impossible. Rocket pioneer Wernher von Braun said, "I have learned to use the word impossible with the greatest of caution." And Napoleon Bonaparte declared, "The word impossible is not in my dictionary." If you feel you must take the advice of an expert, however, then heed the words of John Andrew Holmes, who asserted, "Never tell a young person that something cannot be done." God may have been waiting centuries for somebody ignorant enough of the impossible to do that thing. If you want to achieve something, give yourself permission to believe it is possible, no matter what experts might say. 3. Look for possibilities in every situation. Becoming a possibility thinker is more than just refusing to let yourself be negative. It's something more. It's looking for positive possibilities despite the circumstances. I recently heard Don Soderquist, former president of Walmart, tell a wonderful story that illustrates how a person can find positive possibilities in any situation. Soderquist had gone with Sam Walton to Huntsville, Alabama to open several new stores. While there, Walton suggested they visit the competition. Here's what Soderquist said happened. "We went into a store, and I have to tell you that it was the worst store I've ever seen in my life. It was terrible. There were no customers. There was no help on the floor. The aisles were cluttered with merchandise, empty shelves, dirty. It was absolutely terrible. Walton walked one way and I'd walk the other way and we'd kind of meet out on the sidewalk. He said, "What'd you think, Don?" I said, "Sam, that is the absolutely worst store I've ever seen in my life. I mean, did you see the aisles?" He said, "Don, did you see the pantyhose rack?" I said, "No, I didn't, Sam. I must have gone on a different aisle than you. I didn't see that." He said, "That was the best pantyhose rack I've ever seen, Don." And he said, "I pulled the fixture out and on the back was the name of the manufacturer. When we get back, I want you to call that manufacturer and have him come in and visit with our fixture people. I want to put that rack in our stores. It's absolutely the best I've ever seen." And he said next, did you see the ethnic cosmetics? I said, Sam, that must have been right next to the pantyhose rack because I absolutely missed that. He said, Don, do you realize that in our stores we have 4 feet of ethnic cosmetics? These people had 12 feet of it. We are absolutely missing the boat. I wrote down the distributor of some of those products. When we get back, I want you to get a hold of our cosmetic buyer and get these people in. We absolutely need to expand our ethnic cosmetics. Now, Sam Walton didn't hit me on the head and say, Don, now what lesson did you learn from this? He had already hit me on the head by looking for the good, looking how to improve, striving for excellence. It's so easy to go and look at what other people do badly, but one of the leadership characteristics of vision that he showed me, and I'll never forget it, is look for the good in what other people are doing and apply it. It doesn't take a genius IQ or 20 years of experience to find the possibility in every situation. All it takes is the right attitude, and anybody can cultivate that. Thor, dream one size bigger. One of the finest ways to develop an attitude of potential is to encourage yourself to dream bigger than you usually do. Let's face it, most people have too modest of dreams. They lack an expansive mindset. Henry Curtis advises, make your plans as fantastic as you like, because 25 years from now, they will seem mediocre. Make your plans 10 times as great as you first planned, and 25 years from now you will wonder why you did not make them 50 times as great. You will be compelled to expand if you force yourself to dream bigger, to picture your company as being one size larger, and to set goals that are at least one step above where you are now at. Additionally, it will inspire you to see bigger possibilities. 5. Question the status quo. Many individuals desire to improve their lives while also cherishing stability. However, personal growth necessitates change, which often involves challenging the status quo. If one wants to explore more opportunities, they cannot be content with their current situation. As a possibility thinker, one may encounter people who discourage them from pursuing their dreams and accepting the status quo, but those who strive for success refuse to accept limitations and are willing to challenge the status quo. As you begin to explore greater possibilities for yourself, your organization, or your family, and others challenge you for it, take comfort in knowing that right now as you read this, other possibility thinkers across the country and around the world are thinking about curing cancer, developing new energy sources, feeding hungry people, and improving quality of life. They are challenging the status quo against the odds, and you should too. 6. Find inspiration from great achievers. You can learn a lot about possibility thinking by studying great achievers. I mentioned George Lucas in this chapter. Perhaps he doesn't appeal to you, or you don't like the movie industry. Personally, I'm not a big science fiction fan, but I admire Lucas as a thinker, creative visionary, and business person. Find some achievers you admire and study them. Look for people with the attitude of Robert F. Kennedy, who popularized George Bernard Shaw's stirring statement, "Some men see things as they are and say, why? I dream of things that never were and say, why not?" I know possibility thinking isn't in style with many people, so call it what you like: the will to succeed, belief in yourself, confidence in your ability, faith. It's really true. People who believe they can't, don't. But if you believe you can, you can. That's the power of possibility thinking. Story part: leadership story, a leader's reaction in a difficult situation. There was once a group of tradesmen who were traveling from one place to another to buy and sell goods. They went wherever the trade took them, and they had only but a couple of rules. One of them was that they never risk their lives or their cargo on the unknown. The other one was that they always keep their word and do everything possible to honor the deal they made. After a couple of years, their reputation spread across the land and their service was very sought after. Not that long ago, during the course of their travels, they came across a city where they made a very lucrative deal of transporting certain goods from one town to another. For the group of tradesmen, it was business as usual, except they had to take a route they have never taken before to make the deadline of the delivery. This was not in any way a breach of their rules, as at the point of making the deal they didn't know they would have to cross a desert that was extremely dangerous. The deal was struck and the caravan took off on their journey. After a short time on their journey, they came to the edge of an unknown desert. The leader of the caravan was a very careful and experienced man, so he decided to ask around at the nearby village about the desert before continuing. Very soon he discovered that they found themselves in a very difficult situation. The desert was not like any other they faced before. It was more deadly and more treacherous, but they had no choice but to go through it as they were running out of time. The leader of the caravan found out that, during the day, the sun heats up the fine sand so much that no one can walk on it, not even the camels. Also, there is no water on the surface to be found, and it takes 3 days or 3 nights' time to walk across the desert if you know your way. After informing all of the members of the caravan and taking some time to think things over, the leader nevertheless decided to take the caravan through the desert at night when the sand cools down. Considering they would travel at night, the traders hired a local guide who could help them safely cross the desert. The next night they stocked up on water and started their journey in the desert, with the guide leading the way. After 2 nights they were almost at their destination. The trip proved to be more exhausting than they imagined in the first place. The problem was that many in the caravan couldn't sleep during the day because of the heat and sunlight, and at night they couldn't sleep as they were traveling. So when they started their journey on the 3rd night, many in the caravan were half asleep, as was the guide. Not long in the journey, the guide fell asleep sitting up. As this happened, the camel had no orders to stop, so it continued walking as it pleased, and the caravan followed without any questions. Finally, the sun was coming up and the guide woke up as well. Soon everyone in the caravan realized that they were back on the same path as they were one night before, so they stopped and started setting up camp to wait out the day and also to figure out what happened. After talking with the guide, they figured that they are almost at the same spot as they were the night before. Realizing this, they quickly checked if they have enough water to finish the journey safely. To their disbelief, they discovered that they had no water left. Only a couple of merchants had a couple of sips left, but that was it. Realizing the difficult situation they found themselves in, they started blaming the leader and the guide for their misfortune and how they will all die now. The leader knew they were in an extremely difficult situation, and if his members would see him lose his courage, many would die due to bad decisions they would make out of fear. Nevertheless, the leader calmed his members with a promise that he would find a solution and that he only need a bit of time. After the meeting, the leader started exploring the surrounding of the camp. Not far from the camp, he suddenly noticed small patches of grass. He knew that grass needs water to prosper, and as it looked, there was more than enough water to keep the grass alive through the intense heat. So he figured that there would be enough water for them also. He quickly called other members of the caravan to the spot where the grass was growing and explained his plan. Everyone agreed to dig, and dig they did. Very quickly they stumbled upon a large rock that proved impossible to break. The members that were dealing with the rock lost hope and again started blaming their leader for the difficult situation they found themselves in. "It's useless. You brought us out here even though you knew it was dangerous. You broke our #1 rule. Then you gave us false hope and made us waste our time and energy with an impossible task. Who even knows if there is any water under this rock? You doomed us all." The caravan leader again understood the frustration his friends were dealing with, so he calmly stepped to the rock and looked at it. He noticed that the rock was for some reason wet. It almost looked like the rock was sweating. He knew that meant that there was water under the rock, and it was pushing on the rock with great pressure. So the leader continued to hit the rock with different tools, and soon he asked for the strongest person in the caravan to come and help him. The strongman was reluctant to help, but the caravan leader promised him the last of his water and additional riches when they would break the rock and after delivering the goods they were transporting. The strongman was finally motivated to try his best, and soon his best proved enough as the rock cracked just enough for the water to start pouring out of the cracks and making a big puddle from which every caravan member could drink and fill their canteens up with water. They finally had enough water to finish their journey the same night. This time everyone was looking over the guide that he didn't fall asleep again. As the sun was starting to rise, they arrived at their final destination and delivered the goods on time. Moral of the story: when leading a team, you will most certainly face challenges either from your own team or from external sources. During those difficult situations, you must never lose your focus and you must constantly work towards your team's mission. When you are leading a team, you will face challenges either from external sources or from your own team that can test your leadership skills during those times, you should never lose your focus and constantly work towards your team's goal. Explore the opportunities around you and take what is good for your team. The main character you need as a leader is don't give up easily. Keep trying until you reach the goal. Many people stop looking for solutions or are not able to look for them when they encounter difficult situation that causes them fear or stress. Many times when in such situations they start looking for others to blame, and most of the times the person to blame is the person that is leading them. And if you are that person, the leader, you must be prepared to calm your team and inspire them to help you find the solution. You start doing that by not showing fear or stress yourself. Then you continue by sharing your knowledge and experience. Soon a solution finds its way to you and your team. Thank you for watching, and I hope you will become rich one day. And I promise to help you and give you everything you need to be able to walk the path of wealth. But be ready.